Hazbin Hotel is an animated musical series created by Bivsy. It started as an indie animation project with a pilot episode on YouTube and later expanded to 8 episodes on Amazon Prime. The show has amassed a huge fan base. Seriously, it's huge. Every time I would open Instagram, I would be bombarded with Hazbin Hotel cosplays and lip sync clips. I felt somewhat bullied into checking this out. Now, admittedly, I haven't watched many musicals, and I wouldn't consider myself particularly musically inclined. In fact, my singing talent rivals that of a mosquito, which is why I think it would be an absolutely terrible idea for me to explain the premise of the show in the form of a song.
Down in hell where flames burning bright lives a princess with a dream inside. Charlie, daughter of Lucifer, it's true, she's about to change your worldview. Welcome to the Hazbin Hotel. Sinners gather up and yell. If you can make this transformation, it'll stop the angels' extermination. Every year the angels descend. With righteous fire they intend to purge the sinners and cleanse the land. But Charlie's got a different plan. Welcome to the Hazbin Hotel. Sinners gather up and yell. If you can make this transformation, it'll stop the angels' extermination.
Charlie opens a hotel to rehabilitate sinners. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the characters. Hazbin Hotel features a diverse cast with unique and captivating designs. And for such a short series, there's a lot of them. I'll get to my criticisms later on, but I think the characters that are well done are some of the highlights of the series. So allow me to discuss my 3 favorite characters. First up is Serpentius, a comic relief character who's awkward, passionate about building machines, and wants to rise in the ranks of hell. His design is so well thought out. With a snake motif and a cobra hood that mimics hair, I love the way that it reacts to his emotions. Plus, he has these adorable little egg minions, and finally his name is a clever play on the word serpent. Serpentius? I like puns. Next we have Angel Dust, the character with the most development since he's the first patron of the Hazbin Hotel. He's an adult actor and drug addict, and as such you can expect plenty of lewd jokes and innuendos from him. A focal point of his story revolves around the abuse that he suffers from his boss, Valentino, causing him to put on a mask to hide the fact that he's broken to the world. And his admirable trait is that he cares for his friends deeply and eventually shows significant growth, willing to stand up to protect them. Lastly, there's Alistair, the radio demon. One of Hell's most powerful overlords, he aligns himself with Charlie's endeavor, but only for his own amusement. Alistair is a trickster, the type that you don't want to find yourself making a deal with, reminiscent of Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. Despite his cheerful demeanor, he's seemingly always scheming, which helps build suspense and anticipation in the show because you can't tell how much of what he does is genuine. He reminds me a lot of a character from the anime Slayers called Zelos, who would probably double-cross our crew without a second thought, but would it ever come to that? Well, that's a secret. Of course, being a musical, each episode features around 2 original songs, and usually at least one of them is good in my opinion. They can be catchy and well integrated into the narrative, but what I would like to applaud is how good they are at showing off the character's personality. Let me give you some examples by telling you my 3 favorite songs. Hell is Forever perfectly portrays Adam's pompous nature and how being an angel has gone to his head. Poison is the song that I came across most on Instagram. It shows Angel's abuse, and initially it seems like he can handle it, but the emotional part at the end reveals his true vulnerability. And Hell's Greatest Dad is the most fun knowing the context of the show. Lucifer is trying to show off to his daughter, meanwhile Alistair is trying to get under his skin. Now, I'd like to give a bit of constructive criticism, just for fun. By merit of it being short, some of the plot beats can be a bit fast-paced, but on a positive note, that also means that nothing feels dragged out. I hinted at it before, but what I think suffers most are the characters. Too many characters are introduced, and with so little time, I find it hard to care about anyone who isn't part of the main cast at the hotel. Even some of the relationships between the characters suffer a bit. I know there's a big shipping culture surrounding the show, but I feel like some of the characters interact so sparingly. I do think some of the dynamics between the characters can be charming and wholesome at times, but there isn't really enough for me to sink my teeth into personally. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the show features a canon ship. Charlie and Vaggie are dating at the beginning of the show, and I feel like I've been given very little reason to care about their relationship. So when it's in jeopardy, it's hard to be like, oh no, please stay together. So I do think some of the characters are left to the wayside, and they would have benefited from cutting down the cast a little and focusing more on the core group inside the hotel. Another thing established pretty early on was that Charlie had issues with her parents. However, when we meet Lucifer, he's ecstatic and supportive of Charlie, which is perfectly fine. Parents can make mistakes in the past and want to make up for them later, but we aren't really given much of an idea as to why Charlie had issues in the first place. A flashback to some time in the past where he failed her would have made this wholesome redemption arc feel a lot more impactful. Finally, given the premise of the show, it's natural to assume that the angels in heaven could be our antagonists. However, I think it could have been handled slightly better. The first angel that we are introduced to is Adam, when he is having this meeting with Charlie as she pitches the idea of the hotel. And straight off the bat, we can tell that he is a jerk. So we're given this impression that, oh, all angels are jackasses in this universe. However, later on we're introduced to angels that are actually nice, and I think that's supposed to be a twist, but it doesn't really work because we already have it ingrained in us that angels are forces of good, so it can't really be a surprise. But don't get me wrong, I like that Adam isn't a cordial angel, because the whole conceit of the show is that souls can change in the afterlife. And while we might not have proof that sinners can ascend yet, we can clearly see that Adam has lost his way. With the time constraint of the episode count, I can understand why you would want to introduce Adam early on. So how would I fix this? Well, just have Charlie interact with another angel before Adam. It can be brief, like Charlie goes to have the meeting with Adam, she's greeted by this really sweet angel that gives her hope that things will go well, then we meet Adam and things go downhill. I think that would be a much better format for this twist. So obviously, I don't think it's perfect. A lot of my problems are a result of it being so ambitious and not having enough time to execute. But despite its flaws, Hazbin Hotel has a lot to enjoy. I didn't personally think it was too edgy. Instead, I found it to have fun, wacky characters, a unique animation style, catchy songs with some heartfelt and emotional moments sprinkled in. So that's all from me. If you've watched Hazbin Hotel, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for checking in, and I will see you whenever.